so excited. I decided to come on just a little bit earlier because it's Sunday. You probably want to go chill out. I definitely want to go chill out. But I really wanted to genuinely get on here and share the information with you. So, who am I? I'm Garlinda Price. I'm the broker and owner of Fusion Properties LLC. I'm also a licensed life insurance broker, and I'm licensed in several states. My home state and state of residence is North Carolina. So, super excited to be here with you all on today. And so, I decided to do this video because, like last week on Sunday, we shared real estate versus life insurance. That was such a great video. I'm still getting calls and messages about that, and just the information and how people really appreciated that. Hold on, I'm gonna ask my son if he can close this blind for me. Kayla, okay, will you come close that blind for me real quick? So I apologize. And so I thought about it this week as I was driving, and I was talking to my mentor, my sales manager in insurance, and I wanted to share with people some things you should consider as super important when you're thinking about getting your license, and or when you've gotten your license and you're thinking about hanging that license with a company. There are things that I didn't know, right? So as I was looking, what happened was a friend of mine said, Garlinda, hey, I think you'd be great at insurance. I was actually trying to send him some clients. So shout out to my good friend Tony Easton from college. And so he said, I think you'd be great at insurance. And I was like, I do not have time to get an insurance license because I sell real estate full time and I own a brokerage firm full time. And so he was like, no, I think you'd be great. You should do it. So after the third time, that's what prompted me to go ahead and get my life insurance license. And you should get life and health at the same time if you're the least bit remotely interested in it, because that way you'll have it knocked out. Just FYI, I wish I'd have done that before, right? Versus waiting to get my health license. So I digress. So he was with one company, and when I looked at that company, I was like, I don't think that's going to be a good fit for me based on just the feedback and the things I had read. It just didn't seem like it made my baby leap, right? Not a real baby, a spiritual baby, right? So I was like, no, I don't know about that. So then as I kept looking, I saw people talking about the company that I ended up partnering with. And then other than leads and complaints about leads and things like that and not getting help, I was like, well, it doesn't sound bad. Let's give it a try. Liked it, enjoyed it, nothing negative to say about it at all in terms of there are things that I probably wish I would have known prior to that I didn't know afterwards, but I did not have a bad experience. I had a great manager. I had a great agency owner, I should say. I understood the lead system. I understood how it worked. There were just some things in hindsight for me as a business owner that I was like, oh, well, if I'd have known the expectation was that, then I probably could have set a better expectation and or said, well, you know what, that's not going to be a good fit for me. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the company that I've now partnered with, so I'm currently a part of the Life Now insurance agency, and we're a part of the Family First Life group. That's the umbrella that we fall under. So what I love about them, I'm going to tell you, and what I love about it so far, even though I'm new with that particular insurance marketing organization, I will tell you that there were questions that I knew to ask going into it, right? That I didn't know when I had gotten my license and decided to get my license and then ask the questions, find out I should have asked those questions early on. So let's start. So how long is the onboarding process? So let's start there. So one thing that was a downside to the company that I left was the onboarding process was not seamless, right? That's important to me, someone who's probably overly detail oriented. You may not be that way, and that's okay if you're not, but I'm highly detail oriented. I'm a type A personality when it comes to business. I like structure, I like systems, I like organization, I like communication. I want to know what's next, right? If I complete this application, what's next? What's the next step? What happens next? Next. I'm always asking, okay, now what's next? Because I'm quick and I like fast. I like to make decisions. I like things to move quickly. I don't like slow processes, right? And so one thing that I didn't care too much about the company that I left was their processes were really slow. And especially when you're talking about someone partnering on your team or partnering with you in business, if you're building an agency, is you want to move fast because you want to get people on board as fast as possible. And I'll tell you what I mean. Because people's enthusiasm is hard for them to move forward. It's harder for them. It's hard to get people to do things when they're no longer excited about it, right? Now, mind you, that's no one's fault. You have to be self-motivated, self-encouraged, self-excited, but still a part of that enthusiasm when something seems to be dragging out makes people begin to think, was this a good decision? And they start to reason and reckon with the choices that they've made, right? So with the onboarding process, how long is onboarding? So at the other company, onboarding meaning getting your background check done. Now, so onboarding is when you apply to be a part of an organization if they have a contract. When you complete an application to be captive or non-captive, depending on who you decide to go with, once you complete that process and you sign your agency agreement, then you have to, your information goes to all the carriers, right? So when it gets to the carriers, all of the carriers, so let's just, I'm just naming some to be naming them. I'm not saying that they're slow or anything like that. But Mutual of Omaha, Foresters, John Hancock, AIG, Gerber, American Amicable, Americo, Prosperity, all these different companies, they're going to do a background check once your application gets over there, right? So if you have to go through a background check, which let's say you just got your life insurance license and you already have your fingerprint and background check, if you've never been contracted with them before, they're going to do a background check, which takes a while, right? So for some people, it could be immediate. Some carriers don't do a background check. But those that do, it could take 3 to 4 weeks, right, for you to actually get your writing numbers. So that's what the onboarding process entails. It entails you completing an application if you're going to be with a captive organization, or if you're not, it entails you completing all of what you call assurance bays or your sure LLCs. That's all the contracts that will come to your email from all of the different carriers for you to begin requesting your writing numbers to be with them. Thank you for joining us on today. So part of the onboarding process is getting those writing numbers and being able to write business with all the different carriers. So when you get your life insurance license, a lot of people are like, well, why can't you just go direct to the insurance companies? Well, a lot of insurance companies, especially larger ones, do not direct appoint. So what that means is, what is a direct appoint? That means that you can't go directly to, let's say, Mutual of Omaha. I'm just using it as an example, right? And you can't go directly to them and do a direct appointment, right? Let's say you want to go to Colombian or North American Texas, American National Texas, right? And you want to do a direct appoint. Well, you've got to go through a regional manager, or you've got to go through a sales manager, or you've got to go through a hiring agency. They don't just let you come and direct appoint. So that's the purpose of partnering with an insurance marketing organization. It's basically the umbrella company that holds your license. Your license is then held with that company, whoever the company is, and then under there, you have a writing number and the ability to do business with all the different carriers. So that's how it works. So there's the insurance marketing organization, there's your license, and then there's all the companies that you're licensed with. That's a part of the onboarding process. So you want to go with a company and look for a company that has a systematic, fast onboarding process and where you can talk to someone. So with the last company that I was with, and they were my very first company, I'm going to call them my practice company because that's what people do when they're moved on to a different company. Again, nothing bad about them. But if you're someone that loves systems and organizations and organization and things like that, for me, it was a cog in the wheel, right? Because anytime I wanted to bring a person on board, it might be 3 or 4 weeks in a delayed process. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about the people that didn't follow the application process like they should have, and they got kind of held up because they weren't following the exact directions. I'm talking about people that had a seamless process, seamless experience. It would sometimes take 3 weeks just to get them a writing number and get them onboarded to begin doing business. So you'll want to ask the company that you're considering, what is your onboarding process, okay? So that's, to me, that's important. The other thing that was important was training, sales and leadership. What are they training? Sales? Are they training leadership, or both? So I have a background, and nothing I'm going to say is to be haughty because it's to the glory of God, right? But I have a background in marketing. I have a degree in marketing. I have a background, years of sales, right? Years, so that means years of management, years of leadership. So the one thing I was looking for coming I definitely want to continue with leadership development. I didn't want more only leadership training. I wanted sales training, and I felt like the sales training for insurance was important to me because I've never sold insurance, right? So you got to ask the question, and you want to ask the question, what do you all train on? Are you going to teach me how to sell the policies? Are you going to teach me how to sell products? Are you going to teach me the scripts? Are you going to teach me how to do this business? Are you going to teach me and show me how to be successful? Or is it just a rah-rah party, right? Or a book club? And there's nothing wrong with any, because leaders are readers, right? So if you're going to, you've got to read. But it was more important for me, for a company I was going to, for you to teach me how to sell the product, right? For you to teach me how to build the relationships, for you to teach me what I'm going to do in the home selling life insurance, how to come the objections. I'm not saying that none of that was taught, but the predominance of the information was always about something related to something other than sales training, because they were like, hey, you can just, take the carriers training, which you can. All life insurance carriers, Pooh, will you close that blind for me? Will you let that blind down for me? All insurance carriers have excellent training, right? Ad nauseum. You're never going to run out of sales training. But if you have people that are within the organization that are having a lot of success, let them teach on what's successful, right? What are they saying? How are they building a business? How are they able to make so much money? You want that, and you want that being taught to your team, because knowledge is power, and knowledge builds and brings about confidence, right? So I'm not saying that I didn't get any sales training, but what I will say is that with the company I was with prior, it was to me, it was 7 hours of meetings a week. I'm not going to be in 7 hours of meetings a week. As a part-time life insurance broker that has a full-time business selling real estate, full-time job. I'm a mom. I have two teenagers, a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old. I'm a wife. I'm in ministry. I own another business on the side. So I was not willing to give up 7 hours of my week to be on phone calls about different things that were not related to what I want to sell training. So I feel like you have to ask the question going in, what training do you all provide, and is it mandatory? How often is it? Is it recorded? And if it is recorded, I'm going to go back and listen to the recordings, but I don't want you looking for me to be there all the time, right? So you need to find out what is the level of expectation, because people will begin to be looking for you to be somewhere, but what if you can't be there? Or what if you don't want to be there, right? And so I think it's important to find out, is it sales training? Is it leadership training? Is it success training? Is it training that's beneficial to what your goals are? And I think the other thing that I could have done differently coming into life insurance, but I didn't know enough about the industry, is really setting goals, right? In the very beginning, and saying, okay, well, these are my goals. This is what I want. What I want to do and what I'm looking for is what that company offers, and their structure and their training and everything else is in alignment with my personal goals, right? Because coming into life insurance, you hear people say it all the time, well, I just want to help people. I love helping people. Well, we all love help. No, I won't say everybody. All of us are servants if we're in business. So we already know that we're coming into the business to serve the client, right? To serve the customer. But at the same time, you came into the business and you came to an organization and you came into the industry for something for yourself and for your family and for the people that are in your lives, in addition to serving other people. So I would say that you want to think about it before you were part of the organization. What are your exact goals? What do you want from the business, and what do you want it to do? If you're new to insurance, and I was new to insurance when I first partnered with a different company and now going to the next company, I didn't know what it entailed, right? So I didn't know the opportunities that were available. I didn't know the opportunities that were out there with all companies within the industry. So I had only looked for that one company and looked at that one company and was like, oh, well, this works. Okay, well, let's do it, right? But I should have done more research. That's one thing that I would say I could have done better, was done more research. And I also should have set goals for myself within the industry versus I'm just going to sell insurance part-time, and if I make money, great. If I don't, great, right? Because I wasn't doing it to take the place of my full-time job. I was just doing it because I felt like this is going to, life insurance, what I will share with you. Hey, Pamela, how are you? Life insurance is an incredible industry that you can get paid daily, you can get paid weekly, you can get paid monthly, right? So it's a really great industry. The other thing is, depending on the field that you're in, see, I am in real estate, so the market will change, right? You'll know when the shift is getting ready to take place in real estate. So I was like, insurance and selling life and health insurance would be a great thing for me to be able to do, to still be within a financial industry, still be able to serve people, still be able to help people, and still be able to keep my same standard of living based on what I've built with real estate, and I could leverage myself, right? So that mattered to me. So now the next question, we've already talked about the onboarding process. You need to ask, what does it look like? How long is it? How soon after I get my license and I put my license with you can I begin writing business? Especially if you're planning to only sell insurance if you're planning to sell full-time and it's your only source of income, I recommend that you have a backup plan, right? Because, and we'll talk about that at the end. I hope I don't forget. Let me write myself a note. Backup plan. We'll come back to that because I want to stay on task with the questions. So training, we talked about that. You need to ask, is it sales training? Is it leadership training, or both? Expectation. Because I was with had 7 hours of meetings a week, and even though they didn't feel like that was a lot, most people that feel like that was a lot were full-time. That's a lot for a part-time person. That's an hour a day, right? Out of your day, in the day, or in the morning, or in the evening day, depending on what your job is taken away from something else, because that means you got to lose in, and it became, well, it's not mandatory, but it was made to, I felt like it was mandatory, and it was too much for me, right? So you want to ask, what is the expectation, and you want to set the expectation. Listen, I love the fact that we have all these trainings and all these meetings and everything else, and I see value in that. If they're recorded, I will go back and I will spend time with myself to listen to it. But and the third thing is, what support are you going to have, right? So I had great support. I didn't have great support. I felt like I could go to my agency. I felt like I could go ahead anytime. I felt like there were things you could look at. I don't always feel like a lot of that stuff was up to date or taught by the newer people that were having success. It was always kind of like the same stories, if that makes sense. And not that you won't have people that are successful, but you want to be able to find people you can relate to, right? I want to be able to find somebody that I can relate to age-wise. I want to find somebody I can relate to experience-wise. I don't feel like I had that. So that was important to me with the second company that I was looking for, was age, background, experience. I'm not saying it didn't exist. I'm just saying I don't feel like I had access to it. So when you think about support and having a mentor, you can go to a company because it's, you know, it seems like it's everything that you're looking for, but you want to know, do you have access directly to someone that has had sales success in the business? Right? And with the sales success they've had in the business, can they show you how to do it and how to avoid the pitfalls? Or is it a churn and burn? I don't feel like I was a part of a churn and burn system where I was, and I don't feel like I'm part of a churn and burn system where I am now. So just to throw it out there again, in case I haven't met those of you that are watching or see this video later on, I'm Gerlinda Price. I'm a real estate broker and owner of Fusion Properties, LLC, and Fusion Insurance. And I've partnered with the Life Now group, and we're with Family First Life. And I love everything about the experience that I've had. I'm going to tell you about it at the end to tell you, again, this is what led me to make this video, because it was just differences of onboarding and all that stuff. So is it a part of a churn and burn system? Because I have other friends that have gone to organizations, and the same organization I'm with, in terms of they're with Family First Life, they're not on the team that I'm on, and they feel left behind. They feel like nobody's supporting them. The company I just was with, right? People complain all the time. I can't ever get my agency owner to answer the phone. The agency owner won't answer my text. I'm in somebody's house. I'm feeling lost and I'm by myself. So everyone is going to have different experiences depending on the team that they partner with, the company that they partner with. So for you, if you're someone that says, I really need somebody to hold my hand and walk me through this business and show me what to do, you've got to research different managers and different teams to make sure that you get on a team that's going to support that need, right? So because it's important to me, I don't want to be looking for you on the wanted board at Walmart when I need help and I'm in home writing a policy, or I'm on the phone with someone and they're asking me questions I don't know the answer to. I don't want to be looking for you on the wanted board at Walmart. But let me just talk to you about tools and resources too. Let me write that down right quick. because I'm just thinking of these things as I'm talking to you. So, and also I might not be able to see your questions in the chat. For some reason, I do see, but if you type a question in the chat and I see it come up, I'll definitely answer, okay? So, support. Do you have a mentor, or is it churn and burn where it's just volume and they're just bringing people in and bringing a bunch of people in? Sorry, my dog is cutting up, right? They're just bringing a bunch of people into the organization and they're not helping anybody. You're going to want to know that. And the way that you can figure that out is, let's say that you're looking to partner with someone within the organization, your friend. I'm looking to partner with so-and-so or this team or this organization. What has been your experience, right? Ask questions and do some research, right? Versus just jumping out there and partnering with a company and then saying, well, I hope it's a good fit. So in hindsight, now that was what I did this time in joining the Life Now group and joining Family First Life. I've been researching and looking at it, and the sales manager that I decided to partner with, Christine Austin L., I had been watching her when she was doing YouTube videos and trainings, and I actually was watching her trainings, and that I feel like a lot of her trainings helped me to become confident and to become a great life insurance broker when I started last year. So really awesome woman of God, really great team. Then communication. Can you speak with a person, or is everything support ticket based? Now, I shared in the beginning, I'm a very type A personality. And I'm older. I don't think that email and text is the best form of communication to me all the time when you're doing business, and specifically when you have an urgent matter or it's urgent to you and you want a person that you can talk to. I'm all about pick up the phone, let's get on the phone. That's my personality type. Everybody's not like that. We're in the age of technology where you do chat bots, you're talking to robots, AI, everything else, and that's fine. But that doesn't work for me in business, right? So I'll tell my clients, even when I'm helping them shop for a home and look for a home, if they send me a list of homes, I'll say, hey, can you send that to my email address versus text? Because I use my text like a things to do list. And then that way I don't delete your message and you wonder why I didn't reply, because I want to schedule things based on following a system that I have for myself, right? So how do you like to communicate? So the last company I was with before moving over here to the Life Now Insurance Group with Family First Life, everything that you did with that organization had to go through the agency owner. And not only did I have to go through the agency owner, I had to go through a support ticket. So you had to send them your question, the agency owner and the administrator. They would then send it up to the company through a support ticket. Then you would wait, because the company has 24 to 48 hours to reply to your support ticket. Then they send your answer back. Then you get your answer. That is so antiquated to me, and I don't like communicating that way. So even though I could deal with it and it was okay and it can be effective, it's not my personal favorite of how to communicate. My experience with onboarding at Family First Life is they have 4 or 5 administrators for our team. I was assigned the I can't remember her position, corporate director, I believe, for the administrative staff. You schedule an appointment through their Acuity or Calendly link, like a scheduling link. They call you at that time. They walk you through the process with a live person. She's sweet as she can be. Any questions she can't answer, she hops on a Zoom with another person or texts the other person and says, hey, Garlinda, hold on, let's go figure this out. I was able to get one carrier. I got the same contract. I got the contract the same day. That's unheard of, right? I ended up getting at least 5 to 6 of my carrier transfer contracts within the first week. That wasn't my experience at the other company, right? And I could talk to a person. If I was like, hey, Diane, I have a question about this. Okay, she's calling me or texting me back. Diane, I have a question about that. Hey, you don't have to text me, call me. It worked for me because I was able to communicate with a live person. So you want to know, what is the communication style of the life insurance marketing organization that you're going to. That's not the same as your carriers, right? So the insurance marketing organization, like we just talked about a second ago, is the place that houses your license, right? It's like your brokerage. And then all of the carriers fall under that brokerage. And you can, of course, communicate with the carriers during the business hours, 9 to 5. They have an agent-only number that you can call for all the different carriers. But I'm talking about when you need support from your sales team for the organization that you joined and you're a part of. I want to talk to a person, right? So think about how you like to communicate and find a company and an organization that communicates the way that you want to be communicated with and the way you like to communicate, because that's going to matter and it's going to determine your success and whether or not you stick with it on the days that it's tough and the times that it's hard, because you get that one-on-one or that group communication and support. Expectation. So if you're part-time or full-time, and we talked about it a second ago, but I was part-time, but this is the thing. Anything that I do, I'm all in. I'm like all the way in. Even if I'm part-time, I'm acting like I'm full-time, right? So I had a full-time mentality with part-time hours. So I would say that in life insurance, I was probably working anywhere from 10 to 15 hours a week, right? 10 to 15 hours a week. That's not a lot. It's a lot when you have a job, right? When I'm selling real estate and all the other things in my life, like you have other things in your life. So the expectation, I said from the beginning, I'm going to be part-time. So when people start looking for me to be somewhere or expecting me to be somewhere, I'm like, but I told you I was going to be part-time. But I feel like part of that was my fault, because I have a full-time mindset and I have a full-time work ethic. I set the expectation that I'm going to be there when you want me to be there, because when I can, I'm all in. Right? So I should have done a better job, and I did do a better job now coming into the group that I'm with. And I said, listen, I can't have y'all looking for me like a sinner in church, right? I'm going to be there when I can be there and when I want to be there. And when I don't want to be there, I'm not, right? And my sales manager, Christine, was like, Garlinda, that's it. Do you, right? We're not going to be looking for you, but when you need help, we're here. But just know that we're moving, we're building. And if you're here, great. And if you're not, great. That's fine with me. Right? Because I can hold myself accountable. So you want to know, what is the expectation? Because I have friends that are in this experience. Showing up to that meeting, which was on Friday morning. It was only on Friday and Saturday. And then you're holding your appointments. But what if I didn't feel like dialing? You're not getting on dial team? Then it was the guilt, right? You're not showing up. You can't give up just 3 hours. Well, I can't give up 3 hours, but I can, right? On vacation, expecting you to still show up at meetings. I remember being on a vacation last summer, going to in DC. We go every year, and I spent 4 hours of the first part of the day just on video, away from my family. So they're all, my family now is coming to the lobby like, are we going somewhere or no? So half of my entire day and 3 hours of the night before, so 7 hours total, was taken away from my family. But isn't this what we're working towards? So then you hear the term, well, you need to make sacrifices. I'm 53. This is my 33rd year in business. I've made a lot of sacrifices, and I'm not doing that anymore, right? So when my family starts looking at me like I'm taking away too much time from them, that wasn't a part of my goal. That's not what I signed up for. That's not the expectation for me. So I made sure this time with the organization that I partner with, that you know that it's God, family, and then it's business, right? It's God, family, Fusion Properties, and then life insurance, right? And when I'm here, I'm all in. I'm gonna build it. So you want to set the parameters and the boundaries and the standards with the organization that you're choosing. I didn't do that, right, initially, but I did that coming here, and my sales manager understood that. She understands that, because again, I found someone that was like me. What does that mean? Not like me. My husband said I want everybody to be like me. So not like that. Someone that's close to my age. She's probably younger than me, but close to my age, has a similar background, right? We both did hair for years, similar background, similar goals, similar desires, and it's like I found my tribe. I found my niche, right? In terms of people. So you want to find people that aren't like you, right? Because that doesn't exist, but you want to find people that are like you and similarities, okay? Then meetings, let's talk about that. So we talked about that, and I'm just going to touch on it one more time. How often are the meetings, and what is the expectation? If they're recorded, great, I'm going to go back and listen to them, but are you going to be looking on me to show up for the national call? So like at the last company I was with, if you weren't on the national call, it was like boo, hiss, right? You're like the dregs of society. You didn't show up to the national call, but I'm like, but that thing is recorded. Right, so if it's recorded, why do I need to be there present and accounted for when it's recorded? And so you need to know, does someone expect you to be somewhere? And if so, what are those days and times? And can I be there? And if I'm not, if it's recorded, don't look for me. I'm gonna go back and listen to it, right? So that's important to know. Do they have regional, national, international meetings that you're expected to be at? Do they have national conferences that you're expected to be at? And if so, is this a mandatory requirement? Is this something that's nice, or is this something that everybody's expected to be at, right? Next, chargebacks. So with chargebacks, how are those handled? Well, I didn't know how chargebacks were handled coming into the business. So if you're paid advanced commissions, and we talked about that last week, if you're paid advanced commissions up front by the insurance carrier, then if you have a chargeback, they're going to take back a little bit of your commissions each time you have a sale to cover the chargeback. But if you don't really write a lot of business with that particular company, that particular carrier, then what they're going to do is they're going to say, we want all of our money within the 60-day time frame. You got to pay that money back. But if you're building and growing a team, if that person doesn't pay the commission for the charge they have, it rolls up to you, right? Well, I didn't know that initially going in. I was going to have someone's bill from the chargebacks they had rolled up to me. So that's good to know. That is a thing in insurance, but you'd want to know, and you want to know how much, how's that work. Every carrier is different. You want to have a conversation with the manager or the person you decide to visit. Can you write for other carriers plus the insurance marketing organization that you're with? Excuse me, you want to know that, right? Because a friend of mine got fired from the insurance marketing organization they were with because somebody told that company that they were writing business for other carriers. So what, right? You would think. But not knowing that that was a no-no because they didn't know that was in their contract, they got fired from writing their business, right? So you want to know that the organization that you're with cannot write for other carriers. In other words, the last company I was with, they had core carriers. They had like 6 or 7 core carriers, all great companies. But there was a couple of companies that they didn't have, right? So those couple of companies or a few companies that they didn't have, I could go and get an insurance contract with those carriers and write business. Big whoop. Nobody's going to care. But you want to know that you can do that, right? Because let's say that you're with an organization and they only want you writing their business with the core carriers that they have, and then they find out that you're writing business with other carriers and they didn't know it, and then let's just say you get fired. That's going to affect your income. That's going to affect your livelihood. You want to know, can you write with other carriers if you're with a specific contractor? With a specific insurance marketing organization. With Life Insurance Now Group, with Family First Life, there are no contracts. You don't sign an agency contract, which I love. Right? You can leave when you want to leave. You can come in, you can come over here or you can leave. Nobody is saying, oh, once you get here, we have to release you. I'm going to talk about that in a second, right? You can just come, say, yep, I like it here. No, I don't. You decide to leave. You go ahead and you take your business with you, right? But you can write for other insurance carriers. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that you have a Mutual of Omaha writing number right now, and you're with a different insurance marketing organization, and you want to come over here with us to this insurance marketing organization. You can't write for Mutual over here and write for Mutual over here. You can't do that, right? But let's say that you're over here, this insurance marketing organization, and you want to write business with American National, Texas, right? Antex, as they're called. This carrier doesn't have Antex, and you don't have a writing number over here with Antex, then you can get a contract number, a writing number over here with Antex and do business over here, right? So you want to make sure that that's allowed with the organization that you're going with and the company that you're going with, so you don't find out later on and get fired and lose your business, or find out that's something that you can't do, because what is that? That's limiting. That means that when you got that license, you're licensed to do business in the state that you're in as your resident state, and any other non-resident states that you apply to, and you don't want your income limited because this organization or this company says you can't do business with these other carriers, right? So you want to know that going in, can I write business with other carriers that you do not have access to over here at my insurance? And then you build other carriers. So building and managing a team, leverage a team over here too, right? So if I'm with one insurance marketing organization and I'm growing, writing business over here with this insurance carrier that you don't have, right? And that carrier says I can bring agents onto my team and they'll pay me a commission, a referral commission for bringing people over. You want to know that that's not a violation of your marketing contract if you have a contract over here, so that your business is not affected, right? Because what is that? That's also limiting. You should be able to build and move however you want. This is your business. This is your license, right? You want to add branding. What marketing products do you all have? So the last order, when you come on board, you can order business brochures and things like that. I'm not talking about from the carrier. I'm not talking about marketing from branding from your insurance marketing organization. And if I haven't been blessed to meet you all, I'm Garlinda Price. I'm the real estate broker and owner of Fusion Properties. I'm also owner of Fusion Insurance. I'm a licensed life insurance broker, and I'm partnered with Life Insurance Now Group, and we're over at Family First Life. So we're just talking about things that you should know and that you should look into, and the questions you should ask before you join an insurance marketing organization, okay? So also, I'm just gonna stop right quick. I don't think that it'll let me type anything into the chat. I think I did before. But if you decide to find out more about our company, my phone number, I'm gonna give it to you right quick, is 910-494-7798. You can shoot me a text, and then I'll send you a discovery link for us to get together. It's just a 15-minute appointment. I had so many great conversations last week, just to answer any questions that you might have. So it's 910-44-7798. And one more time, it's 910-444-7798. So shoot me a text, and we can schedule a time to talk and any questions. So we were talking about marketing and branding. Okay, so the company that I was with first this year, you could order business cards, but everything that you wanted to do, there was a separate login, right? So if I wanted to do, if I wanted to run illustrations for my clients, there was a login. And if you didn't log in every 14, no, that was a lead system. If you didn't log into the lead system every 14 days, you got kicked out. So every time somebody didn't log in for whatever reason, they had to get permission to get logged back in. It would send a text. That person would reply to the text. That person could get in. To me, that's antiquated, right? Why are you getting blocked out of something just because you hadn't been in there in 14 days? It didn't make sense to me. But then if you wanted to order business cards, I kept telling them, hey, my login for my store isn't working. Well, what do you need business cards for? What business doesn't have business cards? Even if it's electronic ones, right? I'm old school. That's me. If I'm going somewhere and somebody asks me for a business card, I want to hand them a business card. This is my, like I said, 33rd year in business. If your business card has a face on it, I forget the statistics. It's either like 70% or 90% of the time, if your face is on the card, people will not throw it away. That's why you see people with stacks of business cards, because they feel guilty throwing away a card with somebody's face on it. So anyway, I never did get the login. They never did send me the login to log into the store to order any type of marketing and branding, although I wanted it, right? So I ended up having to order it through Vistaprint, which there was nothing wrong with that either way. I was able to get marketing and branding. But this was the thing. So then when I came up with a marketing and branding postcard, which I think is super cute, I still have it and I'm using it. They said, what's that for? It was a postcard. What are you ordering that for? For marketing, like to hand out to barbershops, salons, my real estate clients, to tell them I'm in the insurance business. I can write policies for them if they want me to. And they were like, oh. So it was frowned upon to actually be out marketing, because that company only focused on leads. Everything had to be lead-based, lead-based, lead-based. And so I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because I'm marketing and branding Garlinda. You're marketing and branding Diane. You're marketing and branding Pamela, right? You're marketing and branding Bridget. I'm not trying to market and brand that organization. I'm marketing and branding me as a licensed professional. Frowned upon to create marketing pieces, but the carriers, I will tell you, will give you free pamphlets. They will give you free brochures. You can order everything you want to display and to set up at a table and do all these different things. You can order that from the carriers. They didn't even use that stuff, right? Because the only way that they felt like was really a viable way to build a business was through buying leads. And we're going to talk about that. And there's nothing, leads are the lifeblood of your business. I don't care where they come from, how you get them. If you don't have leads, you're out of business. That's the truth, right? But that's until I felt like I talked about it was the only way to do business. And then I realized only part of the reason, I'm not saying this is their whole truth, and I'm not saying it is the truth. It's the truth to me, right? So with that company, and I haven't named any company, so nobody can say it's not true. But with that company, I did invest in leads every single week. They worked for me. They were excellent leads. They were great leads. But what I will tell you is this, and you don't really have any way to figure this out, but you do want to ask, who gets the better leads? Right, so with that organization, people that got the better leads were, of course, those people that could close the leads. But at the same time, not everybody had access to the same lead type. So if you weren't someone that was doing what they felt like you should do in terms of following their system, you didn't get access to the better leads. I don't like that. Right, because I feel like if you came into the business 1 day, 1 year, 1 hour, 10 years, it doesn't matter. We should all have access to a level playing field, because that's what y'all were preaching, was a level playing field. It was not a level playing field if Pamela is only getting access to the $1 to $10 leads, but the people you like are getting access to the $20 to $40 leads, which are the solid, better to close leads, right? I would say not better to close. They're newer leads, they're more fresher leads, so they're easier to maybe deal and do business with, because they remember sending a document in versus somebody that sent a document in 3 years ago, right? So there was not balance there. And I feel like we all should have access to the same quality leads. One thing my daddy told me, and this is a side notice, he said, don't depend on people for leads and you'll always control your business, right? That was why I had the business cards. That was why I had the postcards, because I'm not just going to be solely dependent upon what you decide to feed me, because what if I get mad at you? What if you get mad at me one day and decide you're not going to give me the good leads? Now my business is hindered because I don't know how to go lead generate for myself, right? So with marketing and branding, you got to ask, do they have marketing and branding? And whether they do or don't, are they adverse to you having your own marketing and branding, and you go market and brand yourself? Okay, that's important. Social media. So our company, the organization I was with, the team I was on, they didn't do a lot of social media, right? And they were like, you always on social media, because you need social media to build a business. It's not the only way to build a business, and it should not be your main bread and butter way of doing business unless you're gonna do YouTube, right? Because with YouTube, you own your content, right? If you're on the other parts of social media, you don't own your content, right? They own the content. So if something were to happen over there, you can't really control that. So it's important that if you have a business to have a YouTube channel, because you can control the content. So with social media, I would take their the company's posts and any of the social media templates that they had, and I would use it to market. And I can't tell you, just without exaggerating, I know I wrote at least 20 policies just from Facebook. And from those 20 policies, 8 of them were within one family, 5 were within another family. That's 13. The other ones were kind of scattered with different people from social media. So buying leads wasn't the only way, and it's not the only way to do business, because then from there, I was referred to other people. You can build and grow a referral-based business. So you don't want to just be with a company where all they're talking about is you can only do it this way. I do believe that you have to buy leads. I do believe you have to invest in leads. But when they say this is the only way to do it, I have an issue with that, right? And that was kind of what this company was touting. When this, a lady that was on my team, and we can't bring our team members with us, the contract I signed, thinking I was a non-captive agency, was actually captive, because I had to request a release. They did give me a release. You have to resign from the company so you can then go partner with the next company. The lady... she wasn't buying leads because she didn't have the money, right? But what she was doing was she had ordered from the insurance carrier door knockers that she could hang on the door that had her information on it. These carriers have some incredible marketing products, right? You can get your t-shirts from there, you can get all your flyers from there, but they had door knockers. So she had actually people that were calling her back with the door knockers, and they were like, why are you doing that? So it was almost just like, because that wasn't what they were doing, that it was frowned upon that she was doing it. So just know, what can you do for leads, and what is going to be your lead system You will have to get outside your comfort zone in insurance because you're going to buy leads. You're going to have to call people that you don't know. But the blessing is over time, you can build a 100% referral based business from those leads because you can ask for referrals every time you go into a home. You can ask for referrals from friends and family. You can market while you're out and about. You can set up at vendor events. So that's right, Bridget. You got to always be thinking outside the box so that someone else doesn't control your money because there's more than one way to skin a cat. Not that I would ever skin a cat. Somebody hears this and thinks like I'm nonviolent. Figuratively and not literally. So you want to know, are they adverse to how you decide to market your business, or is it just going to be, nope, the only way to do it is to buy leads? So I was going to touch on this. So the reason why it was important that they wanted you to buy these leads was because the people that were in leadership that were building and developing and growing teams, they were required to buy a certain number of leads every month. So their team, if the members of their team didn't buy the leads or buy some of those leads from them, they had to be responsible for them all. With that being the case, that meant that if Bridget didn't go and buy the leads from that agency owner was stuck with those leads. So that's why it was always this big thing of buy, get, because I don't want to be having, they didn't want to have to buy all those leads, right? So I didn't know that going in. So you want to ask, do people like at Family First Life, there's lead vendors. So people you can buy from different lead vendors, you can buy different lead types, you can buy final expense, mortgage protection, and they're all different costs, but they tell you the truth about the leads. I don't always feel like where I was that the truth was being told about the lead type, the lead quality, where they were coming from, because they would say, oh, all the leads are good leads. No, they're not. Even in real estate, when I used to buy Zillow leads, this is my 13th or 14th year in real estate, they were not always good leads. Some of those leads sucked. Those people were not the people, but the lead itself. They were not going to buy a house. They were not even qualified to buy a house. They were not even in the market to buy a house. They just had to fill out something so they could get to the next screen of what it was that they were looking for. So I'm never going to lie to somebody and say all leads are good leads. What I do love about having come over here to Family First Life is they'll tell you, listen, if the person don't want to buy, move on to the next person. This is the lead type, this is the lead quality, this is the lead source, this is where you get it from, this is how many leads we have access to, and this is the importance of it. They're honest about that. And I'm good with that because then I can decide for myself if that's what I do or don't want to do. Captive or non-captive. So I was told that I was at a non-captive company. Well, if it was non-captive, why did I have to sign a resignation and be released in order to go to the next company? Blinks twice, right? It wasn't non-captive, it was captive. So, maybe people define captive in different ways. To me, the way that last company I was with defined captive was, well, you're a broker, we sell for all these different carriers, but non-captive means there is no contract. I can go when I go. Permission to go. And when I call the carriers to say, in order to move my writing numbers from here to over here, they said you got to get a release from over there, right? So if when you go to look for an organization, you want to ask before partnering with them, if I decide to leave here, what's the process and how long is it before I can go write business over here, before I can go recruit over here, before I can go build over here? The blessing was that I had not written business since last November or December, right? When we had gone to a friend's wedding in December, I got back, I was burned out. I'm like, I'm gonna just sit insurance down for a second, right? So I had not written any business since December, but what happened was with one of the companies, I called last week when I was doing my onboarding and getting my licenses transferred over last week or 2 weeks ago. And they said, well, you just wrote business in June or July. I said, no, ma'am, I haven't written business since December. And she said, well, one of your team members did. So that meant because I was building and growing a team, the Lord had blessed me to be a top builder over there at that company. And I'm not taking anybody with me. You can't take people with you for 18 months. You can't even talk to anybody about that business, nor do I plan to. I want to be integral. I want integrity and high ethics. So I'm not doing any of that, right? But she said, if somebody on your team wrote business, that means that you wrote business. That means that you have to wait 6 months before you can write a piece of business with the carrier. So you got to read your carrier what they say to know if there's a waiting period. And thank God that wasn't the case for all carriers, just that one. And I didn't write a move my business with them anyway, so big deal. But you know that? Because what if that was your main core and they're like, you can't wait 6 months before you can transfer here and transfer over, but you got to wait 6 months before you can write a piece of business. You know that, right? So be sure to ask those questions, whether it's captive or non-captive. Over here at the Life and Insurance Group at Family First Life, there are no contracts. So you don't have to be released from anybody. You don't have to be released from anywhere. You don't have to do any of that, which is awesome. And they start everybody out at 100% or higher, right? Depending on your level of experience. So everybody starts out at 100% commission or higher. That's incredible. Over there at my last company, everybody started out at 75%. And this is what I found out, because I didn't know, right? And I was happy with 75%. When I started in real estate, my first commission was 70%. I was like, well, 70% of a huge chunk of money, I'm good with that till you find out different. So 75%, it could be determined or dictated by your agency owner. They could move you up at any time they wanted to. Now, mind you, that company, I think, capped out at like 130% or something like that. Family First Life caps out at 145%, and you don't have to wait 2 months to get there, right? At the last company, you had to wait at least a minimum of 2 months before you could go to the next place. And if you were building or growing a team, it was different, right? There's none of that over here, right? If you decide I want to go from 100% to 120% to 130% to 145% just on production, no team building, no nothing, you can do it. That matters, right? Because what if you wake up one day and build, or what if you don't want to build a team? Some people do not want to manage people. They do not want to grow a team of insurance brokers. They just want to write their business and go home. You can do that over here with us, right? But over there, it was 75%, and you had to do a certain amount of production to get to 80%, certain amount of production to get to 85%, certain amount of production to get to 90%, and then you had to have this number of unique writers, this many people writing. There's none of that over here. It doesn't matter who's writing. If you're doing the business, you're doing the production, you're going to get the commission. So I didn't know that, right, in the beginning. But now that I know, you can't tell me any different now. So that's a great question to ask. How long will it take me to get to the next level of commission? Do I have to have a certain number of unique writers or people writing business to get to that number of business? Do they have to be active? What type of business has to be? What's the persistency have to be? Like, it was all these parameters around your commissions that you want to know about in the beginning, okay? Product portfolio. That doesn't have anything to do with the last company I'm with so much as you want to know that you can sell more than one product, right? If you're a broker, that means you represent several different carriers, which means that several different products and not just one product. So for example, I personally would not want to go to a company where all they offer is final expense, or that a company all they offer is whole life, or a company where they only do term. I don't want to do that. Right? Because what if I come to talk to Bridget and Bridget's like, I don't want a term life, What if she only wants whole and I can't offer it? Either I'm going to have to force her into a product and be low integrity to try to get her to buy something she said she didn't want or need, or I'm going to have to say, okay, Bridget, well, I respect that, and go on to the next person. Now I've lost business, right? So you want to look at the company's product portfolios and know that you can offer the most products to your clients, and you have an entire portfolio to offer to people so that they have products to choose from, and your business isn't limited by that. It was something else I was going to say on that, but I forgot. And then limited territories or regions. Some places you can only work, you can only build in a certain territory, or you can only build in a certain region. I'm like, what is that all about? Like, isn't this 2022? Right? So you want to know, are you limited to where you can build your organization? Are you limited to where you can recruit? Are you limited to where you can sell? Are you limited to the area that you can service? Are you limited in any area? One thing I didn't know with the insurance carriers is that not all products pay the same commissions, right? So you might get 100% commission, let's say at Americo, on their let's say their Eagle Premier product, but then they have another product that maybe you only get 70% on or 50% on. But you don't find that out until later on, and then you'll have people saying, well, you shouldn't write that policy. Don't write that because you're not going to get paid the most money, meaning they won't get paid the larger amount of money either. But aren't we here to do what's right for the client? But you still want to know, for all of the products that you're going to be carrying, am I going to get my full commission for that? So your full commissions at Family First Life are with the core carriers. So with some of the other carriers that are not their core carriers, the commissions are going to vary. Like the commissions at Gerber vary from the commissions at Mutual of Omaha. The commissions at AIG vary from the commissions over at American Amicable, right? But you'll want to know that because it's going to dictate your income, but you don't want to make selling decisions just based on income, right? I don't know. I'm not. I feel like if this is what the client wants, this is what the customer wants, who cares? I'm going to get paid regardless. I can go make that money up somewhere else with someone that wants something different, right? But you want to know that up front. Do you have limited territories and regions, or can you sell anywhere? I have a really, like my mentor, the company that she was with, she couldn't recruit outside of or within a certain territory. It could only be within a certain radius or a certain area. That's limiting, right? You want to know that up front. Do you need a release of leaving? We just talked about that. So I had to actually request a resignation from the company I was with in order to go with Family First Life. And that resignation took 3 days because I could only do it through a support ticket. Now that's not a long time, and they were really good about it. They did it within the time frame that they were said, which is 24 hours. So on that 7th day, I was really sad, right? What happens if you're growing a team and you leave? So with the company that I was with, already read it in the fine print. It said if you leave here, you cannot go back and talk to people that were within your organization or that you were partnered with in your team for 18 months. There, that it's in the print, right? So, but you want to know that so that you don't do anything that will cause you to get in trouble over here at the next place that you're going, or there's a violation of the contract that you signed because there was a contract, right? What happens if your team has chargebacks? We talked about that. Is recruiting required? So a friend of mine had come into business with us over here at the other organization that we were in, and he shared with me that the company he was coming from, he only got paid 50% commission. And we were like, what? And he told us the amount of volume that he was doing. And with the amount of volume that he was doing, he probably would have been, he would have been killing it. He would have been crushing it over here. And he did come over at the other company over there, not here. And so when he told us he was getting paid 50%, we were like, why is it so low? This is a gentleman that had partnered with us at the company I just left. And he's still over there, did not come with me. I'm not recruiting from that company, right? So he said that the only way his commission would go up higher with the company he was with was if he recruited. So his commission was directly tied to his recruiting. So you want to know that, is your commission with the company you're looking at tied to your recruiting? Because if it is, run for the hills, right? Because you can't dictate what people are going to do when they come into an organization. You can't dictate if they're going to do business or not do business, and they don't have to. They're an independent contractor, right? So you don't want your success and your money limited by the fact that you've got to recruit people and you're not even interested in doing that. So when he got to the company where I was and had joined our team, he immediately doubled his income because 1, the commission was higher, and 2, he didn't have to recruit anybody, right? So that's important to know. Is recruiting required? And is it required to get to the next commission level? It's not here with us and where we are. Are the higher commissions tied to recruiting? For us, no, they're not. You can be an independent writer and you can just write and do production and business all by your merry little self if you choose to, and there's nothing wrong with that. Make your money, your shmoney, as my sister and I call it. It is not tied to recruiting. If you do decide to recruit, they have bonuses, and those bonuses are tied to benchmarks and goals are set, right? But that's not mandatory, that's by choice. Can I just sell and not build? Absolutely. Can I just build and not sell? I don't know about it. That's a good question. Can you build and not sell? So this is not marketing, right? So that's a great question. So can you build and not sell? So from December, I didn't write any business at the company I was with, and I still got paid commissions, right? What's you saying, preacher? Because somebody told me at the other organization, and that's why I paused when I said, can you build and not sell? Well, let's see. Because they said, well, you're not going to be able to get your commissions if you don't sell. I was like, well, really? Well, how's that? Because this isn't a network marketing organization. This isn't direct sales. I'm getting paid by the carrier because the carriers are not network marketing companies, right? So when people try to tell you that an insurance company is a network marketing organization, that's not necessarily true, right? Because what happens is Mutual of Omaha will pay you a commission when, let's just say it's Bridget and Pamela, right? And let's say that Bridget tells Pamela about Mutual of Omaha or about her organization and says, hey, you should come and partner with us over here. We have great support. We have great branding. We have great marketing. You will love it here, blah, blah, blah. And Pamela decides to come on board, and then Pamela gets her writing numbers with Mutual of Omaha. She gets her writing number with Forrester. She gets her writing number with John Hancock. Well, Mutual of Omaha, Forrester, and John Hancock is going to pay Bridget a percentage of business based on Pamela's production as a thank you for her telling Pamela that she should get a writing number with them. Well, that's not a network marketing company because Mutual of Omaha is not network marketing. Forresters is not network marketing. John Hancock is not network marketing. They're paying commissions because she has people that are doing production within that organization. It's totally different, okay? So, I'm sorry, my husband's yelling up the steps about watering some flowers, right? So, from December to today, I have not written business, right? Until now, I'm just getting all my writing numbers back. And I still got commissions and overrides from what my team was doing over at the other organization. I still was able to get, what do you call it? My residuals from the insurance companies, even though I wasn't writing business, right? So life insurance is a really great business, but it's not network marketing, okay? What if I want my license and my business name? So that's what I did differently this time. So with the other company, I had joined in my personal name. I had I had partnered with the organization, that insurance marketing organization, using my social security number, my personal details, all that. And then they sent me 1099s at the end of the year. So when they sent the 1099s at the end of the year, they were in my name, and my tax preparer was like, why is this not in Fusion's name? I was like, because I don't have my life insurance license in Fusion's name, because I didn't know that you could get your life insurance license in your business name. And so this time going into it, when I was switching companies, I was like, I'm not putting my personal name because I had some money, right? But of course, money you got to pay. What the word is, Caesars and God was God. But I really have been then running through my social security number, right? So yeah, I called the National Insurance Production something warehouse or something like that. You all know Nipper if you have your insurance license. And when I called Nipper, which over, I have to leave. I'll look at replay later. Have an awesome evening. You too, Bridget, for being here. And so I got insurance in my business name. And how did I do that? I called Nipper. They told me the documentations to complete, and I did everything using my tax ID number, my business name, same address, same phone number. So at the carriers, I have a personal number and a business number, but all of my checks are going to be paid directly to the business. So that's important too, that when you decide to partner with a company, be sure in advance, before you start applying for your writing numbers, go ahead and get your business, your life insurance license number assigned to your business. There's no test, there's no extra anything. It literally is a form. Go ahead and get that done so you can get that done before you partner with the organization that you're going to partner with, and you don't have to worry about all that stuff. And then I think I've answered everything that I wrote down. For some reason I wrote backup plan, but I don't know what I was going to put there. I don't know what I was going to talk about there. So we've been on here now an hour and 4 minutes. This is way longer than I expected it to be, but I'm so grateful for all of you that joined. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Again, interested in connecting with me and you want to talk more about life insurance as a business and partnering with us in our organization, We are growing. We are excited. We are recruiting and bringing people on board across the country. Doesn't matter where you are. So my phone is 910-494-7798. If you text me, also in the comment section here, I'm going to put the Calendly link for my 15-minute discovery session so we can schedule time to talk. I'm so excited. If you find this YouTube video later on, I'm still going to be looking, so reach out to me then. It will not be too late. You will love the insurance industry, but I hope that helps you make some decisions about the company that you choose to partner with, and the questions you should ask, and the things that you look for, so that you can make a sound and wise decision for you and your family. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you soon.